What is up, guys? My name is Zach. Hope you're all having a fantastic day, and welcome to the day 167 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season, where we talk about everything that went down in the previous day in the NBA. That being said, a decent amount to talk about today, so let's hop right into it. I have a lot of personal thoughts on this game that I'm going to keep to myself so I can just give you guys straight up facts about what happened during and after this game. Alright, so the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks just coming off a win over Cleveland, in which basically Atlanta's entire starting lineup didn't play. And you know, to start this game, actually throughout a majority of this game, it looked as if Cleveland was getting their revenge, leading by as many as 26 points in the fourth quarter. Then the Hawks bench brought them back into the game, and once you let a lead slip away like that, it's going to be really tough to get the win, since you really gave the other team too much confidence and momentum. And it wasn't just that the Hawks got confidence, things legit started going terribly for the Cavs. First, when LeBron was called for fouling Paul Millsap on a three-point attempt with the Cavs up 5 with 8 seconds to go. Then Millsap made all 3 of his free throws to cut Cleveland's lead down to 2. Then on the inbound, LeBron gives the ball to Kyrie, who was immediately trapped in the corner, and then a couple of things go down here. First off, LeBron James was trying to call a timeout as soon as he sees the trap coming. Ref ignores the call for the timeout, and then Kent Bazemore, who was playing his part in the trap, should have actually been whistled for being out of bounds since his foot was on the line while he was touching the ball. That doesn't get called either. Instead, it turns out to be a jump ball, and after the jump, there is a scramble for the balls. The Hawks come up with it, and Paul Millsap hits the tough baseline fader at the buzzer to send the game to overtime. So a crazy ending, but the drama doesn't stop there. In overtime, LeBron James got called for his 6th foul on what appeared to be a phantom call when Paul Millsap was going up for the rebound. Of course, that meant LeBron James had to go to the bench for the rest of the game, and then you know the Hawks won from there. So that's what happened in the game, and now let's talk about it. 4 major things that decided the game. First thing is the Cavs blew a 26-point lead. None of this other stuff even happens without that happening first, so no one or nothing can be blamed for them losing the lead except for them. So that happens, you know, they let Atlanta back into the game. And then the second and third major thing that happened, the refs ignoring LeBron James' call for a timeout, and then Bazemore not getting called for an out of bounds play. And after the game, of course, LeBron was asked about both of these things.
He told me that I'm not allowed to call timeout because he didn't know who had possession of the ball. And I was the one who entered the ball to Kyrie. And as soon as I seen Millsap go trap Kyrie in the short corner, I looked at him and called timeout twice, at least twice. And he wasn't even paying me no attention. You know, and that's when the jump ball happened. I said, why? He said, I can't call timeout because I don't know who has the possession of the ball. I don't know what's going on. I don't know the tie-up. So that doesn't make any sense. We have the ball because I entered the ball to Kyrie, so you shouldn't even be worried about the tie-up or not. I'm calling as soon as I see Kyrie is getting tied up in the corner. So I've never heard that before. I've never heard that explanation before in my life.
Now, there have been plenty of times when calls for timeouts have been ignored. And while I do think it's a problem that could be easily solved by the league, it happens. Although it's not that the ref didn't hear LeBron calling for a timeout, since he gave LeBron the reasoning that he wasn't sure who had the ball, so he knew LeBron was calling, but he just decided that he didn't know who had the ball, so they couldn't call timeout. Which is kind of curious because players calling timeout when they're trapped happens all the time. As for Bazemore not being called out of bounds on the play, I have no idea how the refs missed that one. Which leads us to the 4th thing that happened, LeBron James fouling out. And of course, LeBron had something to say about this as well.
Yeah, it wasn't a foul. My 6th foul. I knew I had 5. I knew the ball was going long. So, you know, grazed Millsap a little bit, but throughout the course of the game, I didn't push him or anything like that. we got some bad breaks, obviously.
And just from the angles I'm seeing, even playing it back frame by frame, I really don't see a foul here. Does LeBron graze Millsap's back? I mean, yeah, but I don't think that's nearly enough contact for a foul to be called. I guess the refs just expected Millsap to get the rebound, and then when it went over him, they must have thought LeBron James held him down to try and stop him from getting the rebound or something. Those were the major factors in the game. 126 to 125 was the final score, with Kyrie Irving scoring 45, LeBron James having a triple-double of 32 points, 10 assists, and 16 rebounds, and Millsap having 22, and Hardaway scoring 21 for Atlanta. So that's everything that went down in the game, which is going to lead us to the question of the day. I just want to hear your opinions on what happened. I feel like a lot of people are going to have different points of views on this. And this is my point of view. See, the Cavs blew a 26-point lead. That's what started it. There is no dispute that without them blowing the lead, none of this other stuff happens. This game isn't even talked about. But that being said, that doesn't get rid of the fact that there were some pretty questionable calls that went against what the Cavs didn't get at the end of the game and in overtime. So the Cavs hold the majority of the blame since they're the ones that blew the lead in the first place. But then when it comes to actually, you know, the refs didn't do a good job, but the Cavs could have prevented that from happening by not blowing a 26-point lead. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section below, but now let's get into the other stuff that happened last night as well. Savage! Absolute savage. Are you kidding me? This is a game that I'm sure that no one that was alive to experience will ever forget. I've said it before and I will gladly say it again. Russell Westbrook's will to win is on a whole nother level. We all know the storyline coming into this one. Westbrook needed one more triple-double to set the NBA record for most triple-doubles in a single season. And he got it. You know, of course he got it. I don't think there was ever any questions as to whether or not he wouldn't get it. But it was how he got it that blew my mind. We are talking about another 50-point triple-double, another one. His third of the year. 50 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists for Westbrook. Oh, but that is not all. Because it was his 48th, 49th, and 50th point that came on a 40-footer at the buzzer to cap off Russell Westbrook's comeback win over the Nuggets. That was also savage enough to eliminate the Nuggets from playoff contention. Bro, that one shot made too much happen. It got Westbrook his third 50-point triple-double, got the Thunder a win, and eliminated the Nuggets, killing 3 birds with 1 stone. I honestly don't even know what else to say though. 106 to 105 was your final score, and Danilo Gallinari had 34 points and 10 rebounds for the Nuggets. I mean, if you're a Nuggets fan though, keep your head up. You know, y'all got a real nice young team and your time is coming. But for real, Westbrook, why'd you have to do him like that? The Lakers still playing some of their best basketball of the season since the very beginning of the year, riding a 3-game winning streak coming into this one. But getting a win over the Wolves wouldn't come easy. You gotta deal with Wiggins and you gotta deal with Towns, and simply put, they just couldn't stop either of them. Wiggins and Towns were tearing the entire Lakers team apart. Just the 2 of them alone going up against an entire team. Wiggins dropping 41, and Towns, my God, Towns, 40 points and 21 rebounds. But that being said, I just want to say this real quick to you deloading. Keep balling, man. For those of you guys that don't know, D'Angelo Russell's grandma just passed away yesterday, and at first he wasn't going to play in the game, which, you know, you can't blame him. She meant a lot to him, but you know, basketball is an escape for some of these players. They can go out onto the court and then just try to forget about everything that's going on through the game. And he lost his grandma, still went out there and played, and that's what made this game even more special. To be honest, what Russell did last night to me was more meaningful than Westbrook's game, since despite both Towns and Wiggins scoring 40, it was D'Lo's love for his grandma that eventually won out as he hit a 3 at the buzzer to give the Lakers the 110 to 109 win, a shot which he dedicated to his grandma after the game. You know, amazing performance, D'Angelo Russell. He had 16, and Tyler Ennis had a career high 20 off the bench. Sending prayers to you and your family, D'Angelo Russell. We all knew who was winning this game, but I will give some props to Sacramento for at least being able to keep up with the Rockets in terms of scoring. But they just couldn't score enough, and 135 to 128 was the final score. James Harden got his 21st triple-double of the year with 35 points, 15 assists, and 11 rebounds. And after the game, he was asked about Westbrook's late MVP push, and he said that he thought that winning mattered more than numbers. I just found that to be quite funny.
There, you know, lots of conversations about different stats and your total assists and points produced and Russ's triple doubles. His team record something that matters to
I
players?
think that's the most important thing. I mean, I thought winning was what this was about. Period. So I'm not going to get into depth with all that, but I thought winning was the most important thing. And you know, if you set your team up in a position to have a chance at the ultimate goal, then that's the most important thing.
But Ryan Anderson had 21 on 6 of 8 shooting from deep, while Scala Bicieri had 25 and Ty Lawson had 20 points and 11 assists. With a win in this one, the Raptors could clinch the number 3 seed in the East. That being said though, these last couple of regular season games are still important for Toronto, as they still had to gel more as a team, because they really never been at full strength this entire season, with DeRozan being out earlier in the year, and then trading for Ibaka and Tucker, and then Lowry missing basically the entire second half of the season. With all that accounted for though, it's pretty impressive what they've been able to do still by winning 50 games. And they got that 50th win last night with their 110-97 victory over New York, in which DeRozan notched his 32nd 30-point game of the season with 35 points, while Lowry had 17 points and 11 assists. Willy Hernangomez had 24 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists for the Knicks. The Pistons, one of the teams that I expect to make serious changes during the offseason. They of course have been eliminated from playoffs already, but that didn't stop them from getting the 103-90 win over Memphis last night. And it was thanks to Detroit only giving up 10 points to the Grizzlies in the third quarter that allowed them to get that win. That and their pretty solid 3-point shooting last night, as they made 14 of their 28 attempts. Boban Marjanovic with another good game off the bench, as he had 14 points and 10 rebounds, while Mike Conley scored 15 for Memphis. The final game of the day, and rookie Tyler Ulis continues to impress me. A second-round pick that looks like he could be a pretty legit starter in the league, as he had 20 points and 10 assists, and we already know Booker will be more than a solid player in the league as well, as he drops 21, as does TJ Warren in the Suns' 124-111 win over Dallas. Yogi and Powell both scored 21 for the Mavs. That's it for all the games last night. Don't forget to leave your answers to the question of the day down in the comment section below. But speaking of answers, let's check out what some of you said from yesterday's video. Yesterday, we talked about the 3-team race for the 7th and 8th seed in the Eastern Conference between the Bulls, the Pacers, and the Heat. And I asked you guys which 2 teams would most likely get the last 2 spots. Miami and Indiana should both make the playoffs. Miami has been one of the best teams in the league since the All-Star break, and Indiana has also been playing well since they got Lance. Chicago is just a mess, and they should start rebuilding. Honestly, I think the Pacers will stay in the 7th, since like you mentioned, Lance has brought some energy to them. So I think they can beat both Philly and Atlanta in their next 2 matchups. As for the 8th seed, I think it's going to be close. But looking at both their schedules and the way they've been playing recently, I think it's going to be way easier for the Bulls, since they're playing the Nets and the Magic, whereas Miami is going to play the Cavs and the Wizards. I think that Miami has been a better team this season, but I don't see them making the playoffs just because of those 2 games. But in the NBA, anything can happen, so we'll see what happens. I don't see the standings changing in the Eastern Conference at all. The Pacers are rejuvenated due to the return of Lance, and the Bulls have a tiebreaker over both teams. I can only see the Heat making it if the Pacers' energy level goes way down, and I don't think Lance is letting that happen anytime soon. Yeah, it's gonna be hard for Miami considering their schedule. But like I said yesterday, the Bulls do struggle against the worst teams in the league for some reason. But that being said, the Bulls have to lose to either Orlando or Brooklyn. I can't see them losing to both, and then Miami has to beat both the Cavs. And the Cavs aren't going to be resting their players since they're still fighting for the number 1 seed, and then they had to play the Wizards, who actually could rest their players since they already have the number 4 seed locked up, and they might not want to risk injury. But I think it's safe to say that everyone can agree that Indiana is going to get one of those 2 spots. And that about wraps up all the action for the day 167 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season, and now it's time to get into the player of the day. Yesterday, you guys selected Damian Lillard and his career-high 59 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists as your player of the day, and here are today's nominees, even though Russell Westbrook is going to win. And by the way, only players whose team won are eligible for player of the day. Russell Westbrook and his 50 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists. DeMar DeRozan and his 35 points. D'Angelo Russell and his 16 points, including the game winner and 4 assists. James Harden and his 35 points, 15 assists, and 11 rebounds. Or Paul Millsap and his 22 points and 9 rebounds. As always, you guys can go vote for the player of the day right now by following the straw poll link down in the description box below. But other than that, thank you once again for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to leave a like on it and subscribe if you haven't already for more daily NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting the Bucks, Team STC, and I'm out of here. Peace!